Hello, everyone. Excellent you here. Thank you so much for your questions, for the fabulous questions that you sent, that you emailed ahead of time or posted on the Feldenkrais NYC community board, which is a great place for asking questions on an ongoing basis, not only during the pre-Q&A sessions, but let me just quickly show you that maybe this is what I'll do. I will send you in the chat the address to the community board. Here we are. So it's sent to all of you. You will find it in the chat. And basically, this is a fantastic place where you can ask those questions. Let me see, do I have the open? Yes, I do. And it basically looks like this. And in the past, we started with a community board that was designated to Outstanding Needs course. But then I found out that since we're doing more than one course, it will be best to have just one place for all questions. So we couldn't merge it. I wished I could merge both communities, because on the Outstanding Needs, I think we have about 100 participants right now. Here in this community, there are 61 of you. But this is a place to find people who are like you, who are curious about body, curious about movement, curious about helping themselves and ourselves. So here's where you can post questions in between sessions. Some of our practitioners post thoughts, or you will find some videos. Kasia made one video just recently that she shared. So this is one place that you can ask the questions. It's also a fabulous place for accountability. When you're working on yourself, when you're working on improving, it's sometimes all of us procrastinate, life gets in the way. So it's a wonderful place to check in, to report how you're doing, to inspire each other. So today, what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to go over the questions that were sent ahead of time. And then if we have time, there'll be a moment for questions and answers at the end of the session. Feel free to post them in the chat, or maybe we'll even have time for just raise your hand and shoot the question without writing. But I will start with the first question. And I think that good questions are universal, that everybody can benefit from them. So the first question was from Josephine, and Josephine said that during the part of the series, she experienced worsening of arthritis and sometimes could not do too much, have not done the daily 10-minute practice. This is referring to the last course, the Standing Strong, Walking Tall course. And she will start at the beginning when she's ready to do that. But because the arthritis kicked in, she was concerned about it. And the question was how to deal with this, like when you have difficulty. And I think this is universal, because Nai sent a question that during the course, standing on the highest point, when we were exploring this standing on the tallest point of the hip, she experienced some back tension, tightness. So how to deal with this? And for that, I prepared a little presentation. So let me share that with you. Here we go. And we go to this PowerPoint. It will be short, don't worry. Basically, my answer is that there are two models of rehabilitation. There is a standard rehabilitation, where you could call it, or performance-oriented rehabilitation, where you work on increasing tissue resilience. And for that, you challenge. Like, in order to get stronger, you have to overload your muscles. They won't get stronger if you don't do that. That's a principle of a standard rehabilitation. But then there is also another course that we could call joint preservation rehabilitation. I called it here joint preservation rehabilitation, but you could even expand it and say tissue preservation, because it could be angry, inflamed tendon or ligament that gets overstretched and fires and creates inflammation and redness and swelling and pain. So it could be any tissue. I called it joint presentation here. And this course doesn't challenge the system. It's about protecting the joint. In this case, it will be joint. In Josephine, because Josephine asked a question about the arthritis. Arthritis will be a classic thing that if the cartilage is sufficiently, unfortunately, damaged, there is really not much that we can do at this point in our knowledge of medicine, except for things like knee replacement or joint replacement, right? You could try injections. You could try to prolong whatever is left there. But at some point, most people, the course of treatment will be to do the joint replacement, whether it's knee replacement, shoulder replacement, or hip replacement. So if you're not, please mute yourself. And Kasia, could you help me? Are you able to mute people? So focusing on protecting and maintaining the integrity over time. And here's how I would go even deeper. So standard rehabilitation is about adaptation. You actually, that idea, kind of no pain, no gain, or maybe no strain, no gain, no load, no gain, is true. If you want to strengthen muscles, if you want the tendon to become more robust, you need to challenge it. You need to challenge it probably up to 70, 80% of loads, depending on the tissue, in order to create body's response, adaptation to make that tissue stronger. And that's how we do it in the standard physical therapy. In preservation, it's about more optimizing alignment, your posture. It's the stuff that we do in Feldenkrais. Feldenkrais is a fabulous joint preservation kind of form of rehabilitation because it focuses on the posture, on movement, on distribution, of shifting effort from small muscles to big muscles, distributing movement through the entire skeleton. So it's all to minimize mechanical stress. Even further, if you were interested in this, you can maybe do a screenshot or come back. You will have that recording of this session if you want more in-depth. Joint preservation is accepting the tissue are not likely to get better. Although here's the caveat that at certain times, you may be at the stage where you need a tissue preservation therapy or approach, but it's only temporary. Let's say you broke your bone or something. In the first 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you're not going to challenge. You're not going to start putting weight on it and do jumping. No, you need into tissue preservation, how to offload it, how to even do non-weight bearing, if that's what your doctor needs to do it. Then when tissues heal, you start to gradually challenge it. If you ruptured your ligament, same thing. The tendon, same thing. Slowly, you will start to go from baby steps to a little bit harder, and eventually, hopefully, you can go full gung-ho, dead weights and you name it, strength, powerful jumps, plyometric exercises. However, in some cases, and here's the arthritis for Josephine, in case of arthritis, there is a moment where you say, no, I'm not going to try. And those standing lessons of the Standing Strong course are challenging your joint. So if your hip joint or knee joint is arthritic and you're finding that every time you do the standing lesson, you tweak something and it hurts, maybe these lessons are not. And in case of Josephine shared with me that her doctor prescribed aqua therapy and she started to do water exercises. Fabulous. This is totally fabulous approach that you still can do your walking. You could do even searching for the highest point and things in water. You could do these exercises without as much load. So for you, it will be, you said that you didn't do 10-minute sessions. I would probably say that after you do aquatherapy, or if you get into let's say 4 weeks of the course, then please start to do those short 10-minute sessions and see if it's still triggering pain responses. If it does, lay it off and go back to movements that are not in weight-bearing situation, other lessons from the knee course, providing that they don't cause strain and pain. In those situations, pain is your signal. If you have pain, do less, do smaller. So I think that's enough. We don't need to clarify even more, right? So that was Josephine's question. Now let me check another question. Too many things open. Listen for a moment. Here we are.
Could I have a comment?
Sure, please.
Yeah, the comment is that just 2 weeks worth of water. Just 2 weeks worth of 2 days a week of the water exercise of 45 minutes in that group, carrying the weights, moving everything. My legs are walking down the 3 flights much better. I mean, almost perfect, not 100%, but there's a vast difference in the walking of the legs.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So that's, even if you have arthritis, you are not doomed for to live in pain. Sometimes it is a case. Sometimes people do have chronic pains that last for years or decades. So I don't want to paint everything in rose colors that will do a few lessons, or you do some aquatherapy and suddenly things disappear. But remember in the knee course, I talk about the difference between viewing your health from point of view of structure versus viewing from the point of view of metabolism of your tissues. Your structure can be damaged. My knee, with all these troubles with the ACL reconstructions, with meniscal tears, it's not good. If you MRI it, it's not going to be perfectly healthy, beautiful knee. My job as the user of the knee is to learn the skills, to learn to move, to load in such a way that is not going to create metabolic disruptive processes like inflammation, like swelling, like pain. So I still challenge it. I still exercise. I do my fencing. Sometimes I tweak it. Sometimes it's not feeling happy, but I have ability, and through the Feldenkrais and through everything that I've learned in my life, I have tools to work with myself to restore cool metabolism inside the knee. And then it starts to feel good. And I can go back to my fencing, and I can go. So I'm so happy you feeling already in 2 weeks.
Better. I mean, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not mute. I'm unmuted myself. I mean, I'm muted, so that's okay.
Yeah. So thank you. This was a great question. I think it's helping others. Ellen, quick response to your in chat. How to continue with Healthy You membership? I thought you were asking because when I was talking about community board is for free. You can join it. It's usually part of our courses that we teach. But if you wanted to join it, if you even you haven't done any course yet and you're just starting with us, you can click that link that I sent and you'll be there in the community board. But Healthy You membership is the membership program that allows you, there are 2 levels. One level is premium, where you sign for the whole year, and then you have access to everything we teach. Every course that I teach, all these 30-day programs, The next one, I'll be teaching TMJ starting next week on Monday. It's not going to be a huge course. I think people might be a little tired. Plus, the time of the year, it's November. It's people already getting into to Christmas and holiday season. So what we'll do the next 2 months will be lighter, short and sweet courses, workshops. So one will be the TMJ about the health of jaw and movements of the jaw. That's coming next week. And following, well, you'll see in December. I don't want to drift away. So one is that premium level, Healthy You membership. You have to pay for the whole year, and then you have access to everything. You have access to our weekly classes that we teach. We teach 5 weekly classes every week. Kasia, Marion, Janet, and myself. We're talking about Renato possibly starting a new class on Monday evenings to offer something in the evening in addition to Marion's Wednesday class. So you will have access to this. You will have access to every course that is on the list, like what's been done before and what's done now. The basic level, which is month-to-month level, gives you access to those live classes, that 5 live classes, and to library of those lessons that we taught over a period of several years. I think we're close to 1,000 lessons, if not more, of these 1-hour classes. This is not, monthly membership does not give you access to the courses. For the courses, you will have to pay extra. Okay. Good. So that's the quick one. Next question. Josephine, could you mute yourself now, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unmute or mute?
Unmute. No, sorry, mute yourself.
Oh, mute.
So I can address the next question.
Oh.
Yeah. So with Nai was the same thing. Like if you found that your lower back was getting a little bit unhappy with standing on the highest point, my recommendation will be twofold. One is the general, like you don't have to invest any more money or time, which is try to differentiate whether it's with long lessons, like full hour lessons, those Tuesday sessions that we had, or if it's even with 10-minute work. If the 1-hour sessions bother you, I would just focus on shorter, even chunk those long sessions into shorter, because it's possible that when the muscles are underperforming, other muscles like muscles of the lower back kick in and you're starting to strain them. So I would focus on the 10 minutes ones. If you find that a certain particular movement, like in the 30-day program, we had 5 long sessions and 25 short 10-minute sessions. If you found that only certain movements, certain of those 10-minute sessions were bothering you, I would say just eliminate that. Just focus on, you have plenty of work on other that didn't bother you. If, however, it's still like many of them are bothering you, I would say, and I know you did the gluteus medius course, the hip power course, go back to hip power and work a little bit more on that course. Like you ask if the snow angels are recruiting both gluteus and gluteus maximus muscles. Yes, true, they do. So I work on the hip power course. And the third option is come see me privately for individual session. And then I can take a look at you and maybe there is something in the form, or work with a coach. If you don't have to see me, you could even get better benefit probably of buying a package that we offer, the discount package that we offer for our practitioners. And you can work with a practitioner for several sessions, for 6 sessions, and try to look at these movements that provoke pain, because that sometimes it's something obvious and sometimes it's a little bit something hiding that you're straining your back during the movements. So the most.
Can I say something?
Sure, Nay. Mm-hmm.
I asked a lot of questions, but the interesting thing is I brought it up because it wasn't that it caused me a great deal of pain. It's just that I felt that it's starting to tense up. It did not stay. And this is why I was questioning, which is what you said. Go back to do the hip exercise, which I did. And to be honest with you, everything worked. I just have to remember to do all the different steps.
Okay.
Mainly the core, and then to figure out, and also because I was really overusing standing, and I was out there digging and shuffling because we had snow today. And then 2 days ago, I was just going crazy, digging up all my tubers and stuff. And then when I came back in, I really feel this discomfort. But the interesting thing was, and I want to share because everyone wants to hear this, this is so therapeutic with what you did, because I did all these courses and I just started doing every single bits and pieces of it, starting with my feet, my leg, my hip. And then by the time I get to the highest point of the hip, actually I did that, and in 5 minutes, everything quiet down. It was so fabulous that I just want people to know that it works, and that you just have to remember. The reason it cued me in is because I could feel that my back is starting to tighten up, meaning that my core is weakening. And I realized that I was overusing. So I just rest for a little bit, and then I just tweet it, and I start balancing my left side and right side. And then just like, it just working it itself. It's not ever that I was in excruciating pain. And it was really fun that, like you said, when you work on something before you went to bed, you wake up and you felt much better. I did that too. Like this go on for like 3 days in different times. And I just use all the tools I can think of. And each one does its own thing, starting with the feet, going to the knee, and then the leg and the hip. And finally, the epitome is doing the high point. I found that extremely beneficial at any time. And I feel that, and then I would just go into it, say, just like talking to yourself, like, okay, you didn't do it. You need to move this to the top part. You're not at the highest point. You can feel the body not balancing. And this is the fun part. I'm cooking, I'm doing things. I'm not really sitting around doing exercise, but then you kind of correct yourself. So does it make everyone feel better that they're taking the courses? I should do a commercial for you.
Excellent. I will ask you for the commercial, for the testimonial, because this is perfect. Because I think it will not only help us and our business and spread the word, but actually for people who suffer. So people who have difficulty and they try one thing, another thing, and it's still not working. The world needs to know about this work, this method. So thank you so much.
You just gave all these different lessons in sequence, starting from before. I didn't take the feet, and I went back to look for your classes on the feet and all the descriptions. And so you just start building it, and then realizing the pelvis is so heavy that I need to address it right off, and just sensing it, because I think these are all functional movements and not just exclusively for just working out. So I incorporate into everything that I'm doing, and that helps so much. So that's why I keep asking questions, because I keep running into situations.
And that's why we're here, to help you out, to help you with the question.
It's great, Marek. Thank you.
Thank you, Nai, very much. So next question was kind of tying to it. Question was from, there were a couple of them. Basically, the question is how to preserve the gains we have made over the 30 to 60 days. Oh, Malem asked question, is there a way or exercise to help maintain the benefit of lesson? Or should I just redo it? The benefits last a long time, but eventually I fall back on a bad pattern partially. Then it degenerates. Thank you, Malin. Yeah, so this is super helpful. My answer to Malin's question is there are, again, a few approaches, not just one single approach. First of all, make these lessons, these movements, these practices that we teach part of your life, not some weird thing that you need full hour. Yes, you need time, but take it and apply micro lessons throughout your day. Live with that. So this is what I do. For example, even I adopted something new after I was teaching you the hip power, the standing on the highest point. Now, when I'm in the morning, when I'm taking a shower, probably you know from my mastering balance course that I was already drying my foot while standing on one leg and practicing my balance so I don't hold on to any walls or anything. Now I added highest point to my shower routine. So shower routine is the normal shampooing and everything. And then I have a 3-minute cold shower. And while I'm standing under the cold shower, I'm doing 30 seconds, right, left, right, left, right, left, standing on the highest point, back and forth. Then I change leg. And then I dry myself standing on one leg. So routine like this, it takes literally 3 to 4 minutes. That's all. And I'm done. And I feel benefits while I'm walking to the train, throughout the day, just a reminder. Those things accumulate. If you do the 3 minutes every day for the next 3-6 months, it's huge. So don't only invest in lessons, but micro, like Nay said that she's cooking, chopping vegetables or something. You standing, take 30 seconds, revisit. In this case, it's standing on the highest point. Another recommendation, use the movements that we teach you as a warm-up for your gym exercises. Let's say you go to the gym, you're already committing, do a first 10 minutes of gym, the warm-up that you've learned in the courses. Or it could be your walking program. Maybe you have a walking program. Maybe you don't go to the gym, you don't exercise in the gym, but you go for 40 minutes, 30 minutes of walk every day. If you do, how about doing a little bit warm-up prior to that? Just 5-10 minutes of designated movements from the lesson or from these 10-minute mini sessions, and you work on that for 7 days straight. Then take another movement, another 7 days warm-up. Then, of course, these little snippets, they're great, but you do a little bit of a bigger impact. That's why bigger, longer lessons are so powerful, that you change. There is a huge change after the full session for most lessons. Sometimes you don't feel that change, but most of the lesson will leave you altered, in the altered state of posture, of movement, of breathing, of thinking, sensing, the whole package. So I would recommend revisiting lessons, at least maybe if you're really super busy and you cannot make it weekly, every 2-3 weeks, do a lesson, do a full lesson. If you are serious about investing in yourself and doing the work, join our membership. Do one lesson a week, one life lesson. Come show up to Kasha's lesson, my lesson. You choose according to your schedule and your preferences in terms of time, teaching, style, and whatnot. So, because lessons offer novelty, lessons offer new approach. It's not just doing the same movement. The standing on the highest point, it's great, it's fantastic. I'm doing it in my shower, I do lessons, but I'm happy that tomorrow I'm starting a new thing that will not be standing. After doing whole 5 weeks of standing lessons, I think you'll be very happy to lie down and do a movement lessons in lying position. Go back to basics. Go back to removing gravity from the equation. So if you can think of shifting your life to devote 1 hour once a week, join the membership. You can't go wrong. It's, even if you were to do, I think, 2 or 3 lessons a month, you already be saving money if you join the membership. So this is a recommendation how to go about keeping those benefits. Another two things that I want to say is about forming habits. So think of when you want to change the way you're walking, change the way you're bending your spine, change the way you're sitting, or any function. Your back hurts and you want to relearn how you're moving, redistributing efforts so the spine doesn't get punished. You need to deal with changing, updating your habits, forming new habits. And forming habits is actually super hard initially. It's like the best analogy, I think, there are two analogies that I have. One is, think of space shuttle. Amount of effort is to start. It's tremendous. For this thing to move, you need so much power. You're burning tremendous fuel. It's enormous force. When you get that critical speed, when you develop, then there is barely anything. You can coast. That ship will be flying, especially as it goes through the initial stages. The same thing is for our habits. You want to change it, it's going to be hard. You're going to be disappointed. You'll be frustrated. You will think you're making progress. Boom, you slack back. You go back to your habit. That's normal. So massive effort. That's one analogy. The other analogy is, think of a tractor in the farmers, not on the paved road, but on the muddy, dirty road. Think of ruts. If a farmer's been using that tractor every day for years, there are already trucks in the ground. There is ruts there. You could basically, the farmer could just put the gas pedal. They don't have to even do a steering. The whole tractor will go the same path it's been going for years. If you wanted to change course, you have to turn the steering wheel. If you turn it a little bit only, 1 degree or 2 degrees, you will see how the wheels will fight you, because those ruts will hold you, that will pull you back into the groove. But if you keep pushing, if you keep that 2 degrees, initially, tremendous effort, it will fight, it will skip, it will slide, and whatnot, spinning wheels, but eventually you will go off the rut. And if you continue with the just 2 millimeters, 2 degrees of change, in a month, in 6 months, in a year, you're in a completely different place. You will end up completely not in the trajectory that you've been. So that's what I think in this work. It will take effort to keep you showing up for sessions, to show up even when you don't feel like, when you're tired or when you're frustrated because you did a lesson and you felt worse after the lesson, or something got tweaked. And the whole world will say, no, dude, try something else. And you go for something else. It seems like it's working, and then it stops working. And you go back you jump to another thing, and you keep trying, but you don't stick with anything. No change. You just stay in the same rut. So small change, but persist. Keep at it. Good. Next question. Let's see. Let's see, where are we? Oh, can't find knee assessment quiz. First, okay. So here I'll share. Somebody wanted Annie. She wanted to get the assessment quiz and couldn't find it. So here I'm pasting the quiz. Maybe I should write it that this is first-time users. This is, if you've never done the assessment quiz, this is knee assessment quiz, and you're interested in doing it, you will click on this button, this link. I'll send you the second one if you did it already one time and you want to reassess yourself. The reason why we have two is that the first one triggers the whole automated videos, educational videos that I've recorded. So it's not only assessment quiz, but how to interpret questions, the answers, and things about red, yellow flags. So it comes with a whole several videos. I forget how many, 5, 6, 7 videos that I've created, and you will be getting emails with those. However, if you've done it already, you know that material, so there is no reason for you to go back. Here is the link for reassessment. Let me mark it. Reassessment. That's for knees. Okay. Knee health reassessment, and this is the link for that. Here we go. Question. So here is a question from one of you, and you said, my son is 14 years old, you live in the country and is very active and strong, working outside. You love Feldenkrais method. It has helped me so much over the years. I wish my son to experience the benefits as well. We begin doing the United Ribs course together. After about 10 minutes of floor work, his back began to hurt. I told him he should sit up. I'll shorten that email. I won't read everything, but basically he had some pain afterwards. It lessened gradually, got better over the course of the day. Then she thought perhaps we should begin with a simpler movement lesson. So tried next week, we try first movement lesson in Embodied Life, but series by Russell Delman. He's a Feldenkrais trainer. He has a Embodied Life CDs and audio. But my son had been having some pain in his elbow and his knee from mild injury, and lying down on the floor made his elbow and knee hurt more, both during and after the lesson. So basically, no matter 2 attempts and 2 times different pains resulting. Then he told me that doing the Feldenkrais lessons makes his body more loose and thereby makes him more prone to injury when working hard. He feels that he needs to support of the rigidity in order to prevent injury when lifting heavy things, shoveling, wheelbarrowing, heavy loads, etc. Is there a way you would recommend that my son would be able to benefit from awareness through movement lessons, these lessons? And then she said that our nearest Feldenkrais practitioner is a few hours away, so it's not possible. So basically, question about loose joint, and this is also ties to the other question from Roseanne, who asked if I can help, if we can, do you help people with EDS, with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? So this is the connective tissue syndrome that is manifested by laxity, hyperflexibility, and seems like your son is also dealing with similar issues. Maybe it's not the disease, but there are some of us who are on the loose side, where ligaments are excessively not holding joint properly. And many of Feldenkrais lessons deal with relaxation, with letting go, with lying on the floor and doing less and doing simpler, which doesn't trigger strength. And those lessons may not be ideal for people with excessive laxity. When I work with people with laxity, my focus is to help person find the middle of the joint and try to live there. Internally, how to feel like the standing on the highest point could be a wonderful lesson, actually, because this is where you need to, and he will start to feel strain in his gluteus medius muscles and in the core. So there are lessons, but it would be, I think, good to have, if not individually because you are 3 hours away from practitioners, but maybe scheduling a Zoom session one-on-one. However, he's 14 years old, and I had teenagers in my house, and they didn't practice Feldenkrais. They rolled their eyes. They were bored. They thought this is crazy stuff. So it also might be a little bit of that, like you cannot push people to do that. You wish, I can't tell you how many times I see clients whom I ask, so what brings you here? And people say, my wife dragged me here, or my husband push me to do that. I don't know. I'm doing it for him more. So it has to come from within. If there is some resistance, if it doesn't match where he is in his life yet, if maybe everybody in his school is lifting weights and doing macho things, for him to do some rolling of the head and little things may not be appealing. And it's possible that this is not the time. However, if he is not negatively, but the problem is that every lesson he tries, he feels worse after, I would recommend things like core course. I did the core dynamics course. The whole point of lessons was not loose, relaxed, beautiful, nice, gently floaty feelings. No, it was all about how to strengthen the abdominal muscles, the 4 layers of abdominals, the glutes. So I will share here in the chat, I will share with you the core course. So if you're interested, you can take a look at it in the chat, core course. And for Roseanne, I hope that answered too. For Ehlers-Danlos is the same thing. I'm choosing lessons that are more to make body a little bit more robust, and therefore they're a little bit maybe more challenging, less accent on relaxation, mobility, but more accent on stability. Those have to be curated. That if you were just to, like, for example, for you, Roseanne, I wouldn't recommend getting the membership and come for any lessons once a week, because you don't know what lesson I'll teach. I might teach lesson that stretches things. So perhaps is not the ideal. For majority of people who graduated from courses, no benefit of the work, this is fantastic. You will get novelty from every lesson. You will learn something new. But for a person who is struggling with too much mobility, too much laxity, much more tailored course, and therefore scheduling individual sessions with our practitioners, or trying things like core dynamics course, and start there and see if that helps. All right, one more question from my previous. Although, yeah, there are 2 more questions. So one question is from Nicole. Nicole, she said she had wanted to find out if you offer any foot sessions. I had stress fracture in my metatarsals of the left foot in May. Then about a month or 5 weeks ago, I broke pinky toe of the same foot. Boy, I'm a walker, and it ruined my summer and fall with the recovery. For some reason, I couldn't get approval for physical therapy. Finally, after these months, starting to feel better and able to walk distance. I also have bunions and severe osteoporosis. I'm in my late 50s, trying to deal with the sudden aging changes and realize how important my feet are. Been doing yoga on and off for years and had great balance. Not as great now with all of the foot issues, but PT is really good and working on it. First steps out of bed had been difficult until recently. When PT ends, wanted to find out what options available to stay on top of any possible foot, toe, ankle issues. Really, it could be a full body, as I also have been looking for good bone strengthening program for the osteoporosis. I've been starting to bone medication and need to change all of the bad habits. Yeah, great. So question basically about feet. And so feet, here is the course that I did on feet. I share it with you in the chat. It's called Fabulous Feet and Ankles course. And as it says, it's all about feet. Since you are a walker, after you do the fabulous feet and ankles, I think a walking course will be also a wonderful thing. So I'll plug it in here in the chat. This is called Incredible Walking Course. And in terms of osteoporosis, there was a Feldenkrais trainer, one of the original assistants of Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais. Her name was Ruthie Alon. She passed away a few years ago. She trained after Feldenkrais in early 60s, and she devoted part of her life after graduating from Feldenkrais and teaching Feldenkrais for decades. She created the Bones for Life program. So you may want to look for Bones for Life teacher. You type it Bones for Life or Ruthie Alon, A-L-O-N approach. There are a number of Feldenkrais practitioners who also completed her program. I know my wife Kasia, she studied with Ruthie. There are plenty of teachers who are familiar with her work, and you can look for Bones for Life as well. In principle, if you're new to Feldenkrais is, I think it's I would say it's the number one method that deals with skeleton in action, in function. Not skeleton as orthopedists, for example. Orthopedists do look for skeleton, but they look for skeletal abnormalities in order to do intervention, cut something, repair something, put a screw to hold the bones. So they're experts in skeleton. We are expert in skeleton in movement, in action. Basically, all of our lessons are asking, one of the questions we ask is, how are your bones are holding you, supporting you, how you use your bones as levers to produce movements in the most effective way. So that will be my recommendation. And one more question from the...
Can I ask a question? It's Nicole. Thank you so
much. Sure,
much.
Nicole, you're welcome.
I've actually seen you before many years ago. Is there a strength training element to it for the osteoporosis, or no? It's just like to keep me standing upright and in the right position.
There are, in the Bones for Life, there are lessons where in weight bearing, lifting, dropping on your heels, actually pounding. I see my wife wearing the vest every morning when she does her walking routine. And so it's not only regular Feldenkrais lessons, there are lessons that are dealing with axial loading, actually challenging the bone in the gradual butt pounding. So it's dropping on the heels and walking. I would look, Nicole, into shoe wear that you are wearing, because that is I have a big argument with, or argument, whatever you call it. I have a problem with modern shoes. If you go to a sports store, you will find that a lot of shoes nowadays are on such soft, cushiony soles. They're like marshmallows. I would say this can contribute to osteoporosis, because every walking should be about pounding. Actually, heel is the best structure to absorb walking forces. Your heel is structure and it's designed to pound, to absorb force. If you eliminate that, what happens? The bone starts to be less robust. Why does it need to be robust? Because it has to be challenged. So look for, and I know you had troubles with the feet, so maybe because you had troubles, there was cushioning. And you remember earlier I talked about the tissue preservation phase versus standard adaptation. Look for gradual, as you're working with your PT, for gradual way of promoting and challenging more and more and more. And that includes maybe level shoes without any elevation so that heel can pound the ground. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Marek, can I
make a Hania, please.
Because I took the whole Bones for Life course with Cynthia Allen, who's very good. Well, she didn't teach it. It was her trainers that taught it. But she made a very good introduction at the beginning, just like you do a technical introduction. And she was very careful to say that if you have osteoporosis, this is not going to be the solution. And I was very impressed because she's very good and very open. She wanted one to take the course, but she was very good at saying that the whole course is not about weight training. It definitely, in all the 9 months that I took it, it didn't go very much into that. It has one thing of pounding, but the other things are variations of things that Feldenkrais does in a very weak way. They don't want you to stress yourself at all. Whereas with Feldenkrais, one has more stress. So I think it's an interesting thing. I would recommend it, but even she didn't say this is the treatment for osteoporosis. So the lady that's interested in this might want to know. She might want to explore it, but I was very surprised that Cynthia made that point.
Yeah, thank you, Hania, for your contribution. Yeah, I think it's all about whenever you do a course or something, you may have people who are so brittle with the bones that you might make things a little bit milder in order to stay on the safe side. And that may under challenge certain bones. So
that was my experience, that the people there were really, and some in very bad shape. So they were very careful in telling you, don't move. What it had is a lot of doing where you push the wall and but to me it was much less effective. I have osteoporosis, or I had. I was treated and now I'm osteopenic. But I think Feldenkrais is much more effective. It's my opinion. But I just wanted to say that the expert on Bones for Life made the point that if you really have osteoporosis, go to the doctor and get it treated, because it's not that exercise that is going to solve it.
Yeah, there been attempts for studies of vibration plates and other things, but they're not promising. There are tools that may be helpful, but don't. Sometimes it's you need assistance of medication, but of course there are consequences, and that's why people try to do everything to do it without. But sometimes, yeah. So thank you, Hania, for the input, and we want honesty. We want. Great. There was one question that I'm looking for, and I can't find it. Oh, Marek, this could not have been better time for me. I broke my right patella 1 week ago from a slip on the steps on the granite platform in my office lobby. I was sent to ER in White Place, surgeon next day whom said I need surgery. But on Tuesday, I saw Dr. Ritchie at HSS, who told me that if I followed protocol, keeping my leg in the immobilizer brace, there is a good chance it can heal on its own without surgery. Eventually, when I can bend it a little and some bone has healed, I will be doing PT. In the meantime, I would like to know what exercises I can do for my other leg, my pelvis, my shoulders and arms while I'm lying in bed and not moving my right leg. I was told this could take several months to heal. and I don't want to lose all strength in the rest of my body, and I want to be as toned as possible. So my recommendation, you have obviously move as much as you can. Very hard for me without seeing you individually to make a recommendation what you should do, because I don't know what's your weight bearing status. Are you completely off weight bearing? Is the brace locked always in the same angle, or did doctor allow you to change angles? Things like this would impact what you can or shouldn't be doing. But basically, as much as you can mobilize that opposite leg, as much as you can work on your breathing, as much as you can work on your upper body, that could involve the Feldenkrais lessons, that could involve some calisthenics, weights, trainings with TheraBand. So strongly recommend that you stay, because 48 hours in bed can cost you so much muscle atrophy. If you're talking about several months, you've got to work. So if you can schedule a private session, please. If you're starting a physical therapy, maybe then you can consult with a physical therapist and see what kind of program you could be doing on an ongoing basis. If you are familiar with Feldenkrais Miriam, I would say choose Feldenkrais lessons, become a member even, and see if by choosing out of thousands lessons, you will find plenty of movement, plenty of lessons that do not move your broken knee, the patella that needs to be quiet for the time being. So I cannot give you specific without seeing you, but there is a lot that can be done. All right, now I'll ask, let's see if there is any question. Oh, from Ellen, how to continue with Healthy You membership. If you can go on our website, bettermovement.com. You can call us at the phone number or email us at office@bettermovement.com, and we'll help you. On our, let me share the screen for a moment. I'll show you on where you can get that course, not course, that membership. Here we go. That's our website, share screen. Here we go. Share screen. So this is our website. If you go in our website, you can go to services here, and you go to membership. And if you click on membership, there is the Healthy You membership, and that Healthy You membership that has both options, that annual premium, this one that includes all the courses that we teach, all the workshops that we teach, everything that we have, all these, what, maybe I'll show you what courses. So, okay, click here. These are the special focus courses, right? We have Mastering Balance. We have Hip Power. Somehow it's not showing the Hip Power now. But Hip Power, we just finished the Standing Strong, so it will show up in these courses. The Core Dynamics, the Postures, Breathing course, Everyday Moves, about lengthening hamstrings, the walking course that I was mentioning before. There are courses that are designed specifically to movement of the spine. So some conditions like spinal stenosis are safe to do spinal flexion. Like, for example, discs is opposite probably. With the disc, acute disc, I wouldn't recommend this course. I will talk about more extension of the spine. So if you already know that one movement pattern, spinal forward bending or backward bending, is helping you, you feel better, you feel like you do McKenzie approach, which is about finding which direction to move in order to release the disc compression on the nerve, and you know it's extension, this would be fabulous course. It's all lesson about extension. If flexion relieves your pain, that will be a great course. This course about rotation, about turning of the body. United ribs, this is all about the rib cage course. The outstanding knees, although we have a new course 2.0. So we need to update this. Shoulders course, fabulous feet course, neck course, happy hip course. So these are the courses that this group, Healthy Premium, have included. That you, as a member, you could do any of these courses. You could join me for TMJ next week. This is all included. This on the left side, the Healthy You monthly membership, gives you classes, 5 live classes every week. You can join, or you could do replay if your time schedule doesn't allow, and unlimited access to our library. And this is the library of lessons that I told you that we have about 1,000. Like these 5 lessons, everyone gets recorded and it's cataloged. And we are working now with, I'm excited about the AIs. I'm somewhat reluctant and somewhat excited, probably as many of you, about AI, but we're working on improving how the search function, how to navigate through these lessons. Because if you have thousands of lessons, it gets a little bit overwhelming to do that. So this is how you can subscribe to the Healthy You here, or call us if you have troubles with this. Call us, contact us. Somebody in the live person from our office will contact you.
Hey, Marek, in the Healthy Premium, you always forget to tell them that there are also, I think, 3 one-to-one sessions, no, included.
That's right.
That's very good, so that people can touch base with some of you and get a sense of where they are.
Fabulous. Thank you, Hania. By the way, Hania does not work for us. We love Hania. She's been with us for since we began, even in the Feldenkrais Institute.
10 years, 2015.
Yeah, so we've been for a while. But so she was talking about this. So as a premium member for the whole year, you get that access for this. You get 5 weeks. Then you have all special courses. These courses that I just talk about, and then you have this coaching session. So during the 1-year membership, you will have the initial assessment if you're new, or if you just want to spend 30 minutes with me, even if you're not new, that every year you could schedule that. And that you have 3 60-minute coaching sessions with our staff and senior practitioners. And they can help you design during the 3 sessions. Sometimes 3 sessions is not enough, but this is a good start. This is a fabulous start, and it's a wonderful, wonderful perk. So it's really for, maybe this is kind of overwhelming price, but it's really worth it. If you add all these perks between the individual sessions, between classes, if you were to pay per class, I think it's $25 now per class, or maybe whatever, 25 hours per class. You do 3 classes, you're already better with $69 per month. But if you do the classes and you get the library and you do all these courses, then the courses run from $247 per course to different. There are some somewhat cheaper courses, $247 recently. It's so worth it too. So if you're serious about working on yourself and improving, you cannot go wrong. That's a great investment. All right, what time we have? We already 8:34. So probably if you have any, raise your hand, your electronic hand, and I'll answer it. Otherwise, I think we covered a lot today. Lila, you're here, please.
Yeah, I was thinking on the adolescents, the 14 years old that, needs to do work with strength. And I remember your core, the classes, the core course that you gave. And it had so much strength. You developed so much strength on that. And I don't know if it's a good suggestion to go through that and try to offer that to him. And I also in the chat, I put a note about how I work with adolescents. I really, they're not so easy because their changes, their body is changing a lot. And from not the day to the other, from a minute to the other, they are completely, they don't know even where they are. The body image is changing consistently. So most of my work is letting them do, I worked a lot in creative, from the creative side, and letting them really move or do what actions that they do regularly, or I observe them when they are doing sports because I worked in schools at the time. And then it's on me to observe, to perceive, and see when I have the opportunity from the side of Feldenkrais to do an input that will make a real input that will really make them go one little step ahead. But it's not easy, this is an age that is, you cannot just give traditional Feldenkrais. You have to go through the creative movement and exploration, and then make sure that they, by this creative action, they are not injuring or re-injuring themselves. Actually, I have to be continuously inputting for each one of them. If I have 6 or 7 or 10 in a class, I am really, to each one of them, giving them something to explore in their work that will be less, they will find what they're looking for. And according to each personality, it's a very, very delicate age. And the one that I was thinking, that to give to this kid is your core class. The course.
Core class. That's what I was suggesting. I put it in the chat. It's called Core Dynamics course. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that this would be a great.
I thought on that.
Super. Thank you for reinforcing. And just to finish, you're absolutely right. Like working with teenagers, it's the same thing like working with children, where you don't have the whole hour to explore. You need to be quick on your feet. And I remember with Kasia, because Kasia, my wife, who is a Feldenkrais practitioner as well, she studied with Jeremy Krause, and 1 year of her training was devoted to working with children. And the work with children is happening like you have a 30-second window opportunity while the child is doing something. And that's where you need to notice and do a few movements just to give that growing nervous system a moment of transformation. So you don't have it's you need to be really sharp. You don't have that comfort of just lying down and the person staying focused for 45 minutes on their body. No, they're just all over here, there. You need to just give a little input. So thank you for sharing that. And I think we are done. Thank you for your attention today. It was fun. I hope it was useful. And onwards and upwards. I hope to see you maybe in the TMJ class that I will teach next week. It will be the same time, 7:30 to, it will be 90-minute session from 7:30 to 9. And it will be just sweet, but very impactful lessons about changing patterns of how we use our mandible jaw, TMJ joint, the jaw joint. But it's also very impactful for the global state of tension, stress, and relaxation responses. So we'll have that angle. I hope to see you there or in the different classes. Cheers.
Yes, all our love.